All right, we are live, I think. I think we are live right now. We are live right now. So I'm going to go and wait a few minutes before I start talking about topics before we get a couple of people to get in here. And once a couple of people are in, we are going to start our topics. So on the day, if you're watching this after the fact, as a live stream, we are going to be talking about a good few topics. So we're going to be talking about Stephen A. Smith, talking about Emmanuel Acha. We're going to be talking about, is the Indiana Fever Kelsey Mitchell's team, Sophie Cunningham's viral point, Caitlin potentially being benched tomorrow, that dumbass David Dennis got destroyed, Caitlin going viral Summer League, and yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about how the media is using Paige Bueckers rather than using Paige Bueckers as the exceptional player that she is, just using her as some anti-Caitlin Clark propaganda, and then obviously the Cathy Engelbert, Dan Patrick situation. So obviously, yeah, if you guys are watching this after the fact, those are going to be the topics. Unfortunately, it will take a couple of minutes until people start getting in here before we start talking about the topics here. So I'm going to, first of all, I got to talk about the Cathy situation. Here. And it is, it's kind of embarrassing. Like, I got to be honest here. Cathy Engelbert is embarrassing to the league, and someone saying Caitlin Clark's the WNBA is an activist league. Caitlin Clark doesn't fit that. Caitlin Clark has spoke up more times, and based on whether or not you want to say it's forced or not, the Caitlin Clark has probably done more quote unquote activism than 80% of the players in this league. Whether you believe it's forced or not, she just has. So yeah, Cathy Engelbert's a joke. She is a joke. So let's take a listen to the Dan Patrick show. And this is horrendous from Cathy.
We're hoping to do an interview with Cathy Engelbert. She's the WNBA commissioner. Todd spoke to her a couple of nights ago, and we had a pairings party. Todd went up to her. She's been very friendly to the show. Last year at this event was friendly to us. And Todd said, hey, we'd love to have you on. There's a lot of questions. People have not heard answers from.
And obviously, look, everyone wants to hear from Cathy. Like, do I think most of these stuff are Cathy's doing? No. The problem is that obviously, as a commissioner, your job is essentially to be the face. Even if it's not necessarily on you, like your job is to represent the owners. Like, you are not in charge of the league. You're not the CEO of the league as a company. You don't get to make decisions. You are basically the face for the owners. The problem is that being the public face of the league comes with the territory of being the commissioner of the league.
From the commissioner, and she said yes. So yesterday, after the show, we waited almost 2 hours for her. This was scheduled. She was going to do a meeting in her hotel room, a conference call, and then she was going to join us. So Fritzy, for at least 90 minutes, is looking just for an update. We're standing by, we're waiting to interview her. They didn't, balk at anything, didn't say you can't ask it.
One thing I will say is she is terrible at golf.
Anything, and we thought, okay, we're going to be able to finally ask questions about.
Oh, this wasn't the one. There's one where they're calling her out, and she's in the sand, and she hits the ball. And it just goes to the right. It does not go straight. It goes purely to the right. And again, that's the least problem with Cathy Engelbert.
Caitlin Clark, the WNBA expansion, a lot of different things. And we waited and we waited and we waited. And then we got word, Todd did, that the commissioner said that the WNBA staff, the PR staff, said that she is not allowed to do this.
With that, I don't know where that goes. Like, am I right in saying that, like, well, to be fair, she probably is, with the PR staff, probably does have the power to veto anything she does. that being said, I got to be honest here. While the PR staff has the ability to veto what she does, that means that, she's not the big CEO. If they can just say, yeah, you're not doing this.
They would prefer that she did not do this. You're the commissioner, and you're listening to the PR department, which is fine, but did you check with PR before you said yes to us? We promoted it all day yesterday. Now, look, I know people get busy, people have agendas.
And Dan Patrick's probably happy about this because it's a bigger deal that she said yes than no.
The people
make the best of it.
Like, it was her opportunity to finally say, hey, you can ask me the tough questions, okay? I thought this was going to be a good thing for the WNBA because people still want answers here. There's so many people who have an opinion, agendas here. And this was a chance to sit down. And yes, would the questions be tough? Yes. Yes.
That's why she doesn't want to answer tough questions, because the last time she was answered tough questions, she essentially said, like, I hate to say this, but she essentially said, we like the fact that racists on both sides, that people being racist against Angel Reese and racist against Caitlin Clark care about this league now. I'm like, ooh, that was not a good thing to say. That was not a good thing to say, Kathy. Like, I was like, even though her point is where it's like, all views are good views, and I'm like, from a commissioner's perspective, where you're responsible for the owners and not for the players, like, I get it. Like, I get having that opinion, and you can argue that it makes sense, but still not a good thing to say with the players.
And I'm sure that had something to do with it. But she went on a radio station in Kansas City, but from what I was told, she was only going to be asked about expansion. They were not going to be, tough questions. So it's just disappointing. Go back to when the Caitlin Clark incident happened. We reached out to the WNBA all morning long. We needed, just give us a comment. Does anybody have a comment on this? Is anybody there at the office? We couldn't get a hold of anybody. So Paulie, during the show, is trying to track down somebody so we can at least let the WNBA have their say, have their voice, get out in front of this. We're just trying to be a journalist here. That's all.
And, I mean, he's not wrong. But the league does not want, as someone said in the comments, Kathy's, she wants to be the face of the league when things are going well. Yeah, absolutely. That's all. Like, she is in over her head. Like, Kathy Engelbert worked with Deloitte. Like, I have no doubt about it. Kathy Engelbert's a good businesswoman. And there's a lot of business things that I have no question about. Kathy's done well for the WNBA. And I think there's a lot of people behind the scenes, maybe not the players because the players just hate her, but a lot of people behind the scenes that will be able to be talk a little bit more, like, not like, honestly is probably not the best word to use to describe, but like more truthfully about what she has done. They're like, no, she's actually been really, really good at her job. The problem is that it's not technically her job, but being the public-facing face of the league is part of your job. That is part of your job as commissioner. Even though you're probably not paid for it, for that part of your job, it is an unpaid part of your job, and there's an expectation to be that when you're in as commissioner, and she's really bad at that. She's really bad at that part.
We're just trying to ask questions, but don't say yes, and then all of a sudden somebody probably said, in my opinion, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this. Well, at some point, you have to do this. I mean, if you want to be treated as a serious league, then do these. This is what happens. These are tough questions, but this is a fair...
And if you want to be treated as a serious league, unfortunately, it's hard for him to be treated as a serious league while she's commissioner. And it's like, even with Adam Silver, like, a lot of people don't like Adam Silver. The players do. He's changed, like, a lot of people don't like Adam Silver. Let's be very clear. A lot of people don't like him. But we got to be clear on this. There have been a lot of situations where he has had the balls to come out and speak when... a lot of bad situations. David Stern as commissioner did the same thing. It's like, it seems like Kathy thought she had a cushy job. I'm going to be the first WNBA commissioner. Nobody cares about this league. I got a cushy job. my job is to kind of keep this league alive, get a bunch of funding. And I think she did a really good job. Like the league might not exist if Kathy Engelbert wasn't there for a while. The problem is that you are the face. You are the face. And it's clear she did not want to be that. Or she thought the WNBA was forever going to be a charity. So her just keeping the league alive was going to be a good enough to thing.
Fair outlet for you, a fair platform. I will treat you with respect. But when you tell me, and then 2 hours later with no update, and then we get a feeble response, like, come on. You don't want to do it. You won't. The commissioner of the NFL does not want to come on this show. I've been doing this for 20 years. There's a reason why he doesn't want to come on. I have no problem if he doesn't want to come on. But if he said to me, hey, I'll come on tomorrow, and then all of a sudden he says the NFL PR department said I shouldn't do it. Like, and she's 50 yards away. She's hitting practice shots out of the bunker. So that's what's disappointing. We deserve more respect than...
And from here on, obviously, he's talking about his show. That is a bad move by Kathy. I agree with that. And, like, I get Kathy not wanting to speak on this. I get it. I really, really get it. Like, you do not want to speak about this situation. You do not want to speak because they're going to ask you about the Congress shit, and it's a really bad look for your league. And I got to be honest here. It's really bad that it got to the the Congress getting involved in the league is fucking nuts. But it's bad enough that you let it get to the stage. Like, you were so reactive and not proactive in anything that you have let it get to the stage where this was deemed as acceptable. That this was deemed as acceptable. I'm like, there are people, like, there's no way, in 2024, Congress weren't getting involved. But now, you just basically, you allowed Caitlin Clark getting the shit beaten out of her to be a Caitlin Clark bad situation. And the league, when it went with its suspension, the league should have come out. Do you want to know what would have actually been a better thing? To come out and say, these three referees were given the information at halftime, and I don't know, and decided not to go further with it. Based on that, we've decided that these three referees are going to be the next game they're supposed to ref. They have a 1-game suspension each. Like, if you don't know that in Europe, that's what happens. Like, if the referees miss something, yes, they can retroactively suspend somebody. But in the EuroLeague, if the referees do something crazy, they get a suspension. But it's a little bit different because I don't think there's a FIBA referees union or anything. I think it's literally I think it's a case where the referees in Europe is like, okay, in every set of games, referees from everywhere, you can find refs. You're part of like a FIBA referee qualified roster and you get assigned games. So it's a little bit different there. But like, if this happened in Europe, the referees would be suspended. The referees would get a suspension the equivalent of the players. That if they missed it, and then after it was brought to their attention, missed it and refused to look. When you have the ability to look, and I do feel like there needs to be some sort of a VAR challenge for that. As in, if something like that is missed by the referees, teams should be allowed, the challenge rule should be basically allowed, be like, look, teams, look, you've just missed that. Go challenge that. Or there needs to be some sort of video referee to be like, look, yeah, you just missed this. Go back and take a look. But it's not. And let's be very real. The Alyssa Thomas is a dirty player. Caitlin Clark is targeted. Both of those statements are true. The people most at fault here are the refs, because if Alyssa Thomas got herself ejected from that game, none of this happens. And then we all know the Marina Mabrey situation where she didn't get a suspension and it became a big issue with protecting Caitlin Clark because she didn't get a suspension. And then the issue becomes when you do give a suspension that everything is now a case of like, oh, Caitlin bad. Look, listen to what Alyssa Thomas has had to deal with. Yeah, that's shit. It's shit. And I'm being very clear. I would be shocked if what you call it, if Alyssa Thomas did not receive death threats, if the Dewana Bonner shit was not right, I would be shocked. Why would I be shocked? Because I've received death threats for saying, I'm pretty sure I got given, like, one of the reasons was I said Angel Reese is bad at layups. I've gotten death threats. Like, it is what it is. If it's happened to me, it definitely fucking happened to them. Let's be clear. But Kathy, and it's not Kathy's fault. The problem is Kathy gets blamed. The league, whether it's the league have to have a crisis management team. There's no way that the league doesn't have a crisis management team of section of their PR team. They needed to do better with that. Soccer referees are contractors. I'm talking about just EuroLeague refs. I don't know anything about soccer referees. The soccer referees do have a union in the Premier League. Oh yeah, I am so happy. I am so freaking happy. I am so happy. Like, that this dumbass David Dennis Jr. finally had somebody clap back on his dumbass takes. Like, he is an idiot. Like, so he's not an idiot. Like, sorry, he's not an idiot. You don't get to the position where he's gotten to in life while being an idiot. But, like, his opinions are entirely agenda-based. Entirely agenda-based. Like, he went on a rant, by the way. He went on a rant saying that Caitlin Clark doesn't want to grow to WNBA because she didn't compete in the three-point contest as a rookie. He went on a big rant saying that Caitlin Clark is the reason why the WNBA is not growing because she didn't compete in the three-point contest. She was like, "Oh, I'm exhausted. I want to rest. I just want that one night." She basically said, "I want that one night just to be a fan." And you could see Caitlin Clark at the time of her life on All-Star Friday night. This guy has been saying from the start. He has been saying from the start, lads, that Caitlin Clark overrated. She's this, she's that. And then suddenly when Caitlin Clark is cooking as a rookie, it's then, we can't call her overrated anymore. Oh, she's actually bad for the league. Yeah, she's bad for the league. She's not doing the three-point contest. Like, this guy is a fucking dumbass. And I love the faces when somebody's actually, going back to the ridiculous thing. And by the way, he also said that that the top Caitlin Clark is, was it something like Caitlin Clark is not a top 4 guard because she's bad on defense, and then named Olivia Miles, Marina Mabry, and Paige Bueckers, and I can't remember who he named as the 4th best guard, but whoever it was wasn't a defender. I don't think it was Ryan Howard. I'm pretty sure, like, he named 4 guards that don't play defense either, or aren't good defenders either. Like, I'm being very clear. Like, Caitlin Clark is an equivalent defender she's a better defender than Mabry. She's an equivalent defender to Paige, and she's a better defender than Olivia. She's a better individual defender than Olivia Miles. Olivia Miles is, like, her hands are quicker, and she's able to close the spaces because she plays for Minnesota, and her quicker hands makes a big difference there. They're different types of defenders. Like, of those 3, none of them are good on-ball stoppers. None of them are fast laterally. Caitlin Clark is the best weak side roamer. She's the best at anticipating lob passes. She's the best weak side shot blocker. Paige Bueckers is the best one pass away denier. Paige is probably the most disciplined of them all. It's whatever, but, like, none of them. We are literally arguing. We are literally arguing between 4 people that are between a 4.5 and a 6.5 at their best on defense, which is, we're, like, ranking levels. Was it Kelsey Plum as well? I can't remember, but either way, it was a bunch of non-defenders. We are just ranking levels of mid right here. This is a mid-off with these 4 on defense, but yet it's such a mid-off that, there's no argument for Caitlin top 4 guard in the world. If you want to say, I don't think Caitlin's a top 4 guard in the world, these are the guards I have above her, that's very different to saying there's no argument for Caitlin to be top 4, and then saying because she doesn't play defense and listing people that don't play defense. It's like when Patrick Dumont came on and said Luka doesn't have Shaq's work ethic, and saying, like, Shaq worked really hard. But let's take a listen to him getting torn down here by Stacey Dales.
It's quite a topic, isn't it, these days, Jess? Hello, David. I will just say this. We have to be very careful about how we look at player voting when it comes to the All-Star vote, right?
The biggest problem I have here is that unless the Fever players didn't vote, unless the Fever players did not vote, and if they didn't vote, then I think that we can blame Aaliyah Boston here because it's her responsibility to not, on that podcast, to say basically, look, I don't think any of our team voted. Like, that was part of us. But if the Fever players did not vote, for her to be 10th, it means either her teammates didn't vote for her, and I can guarantee you every single Fever player voted for Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, or 0 other votes were for Caitlin. 0 players in the league outside the Indiana Fever voted for Caitlin Clark in their top 4, which is ludicrous. And for people being like, oh, not everyone voted for all the best players. And the fact that nobody voted for Caitlin Clark, other than Fever players, is a problem in itself. Like, that's worse than saying they voted her as the 11th best guard. That not one player in the league said she was top 4.
Comprise 25% of the vote, the media 25%, the fans 50%. Now, of a pool of 180 roster players.
That's a bit too fast. Let's get that one to 1.5.
You've got 85 of them voting, so it's a small sample size. So you have players, for instance, guys that are voting for, hey, my teammate, my buddy, I can vote for my entire roster, the team I play on. But I do think you certainly have a pool.
The problem is like, you can't say, oh, they're going to vote for their entire roster. Like, 27 players got voted for. 27 players got voted for. And Caitlin was 11th of those 27. The likelihood of let's just say again, there's 11 votes for Caitlin Clark. Like, you're not, for her, of 85 votes, it means realistically 11 people voted for Caitlin. And all of them are, every single one of them were probably Indiana Fever players. So it could be 0 of 75 voted for her as a top 4 guard. And that is equally as big an issue as her being, like, them rating her as 11.
Pool of players who take this thing seriously. And while some may not take it seriously, it is a small sample size. You see 11th with Caitlin Clark, and it is insulting. It is preposterous to consider she would be even deemed worthy of, or unworthy of, being in a conversation of the 11th best guard in the WNBA. And frankly, to further the discourse, to consider the fact
Kelsey Plum 12th and Jackie Young 14th is equally as bad, by the way. This is not a Caitlin Clark issue. This is the fact that, again, my guess is that the Vegas Aces players did not vote. That is my guess, is that the Aces players did not vote. Because there's no way, if the Aces players voted, that Jackie Young's 14th. That is my assumption, is that none of the Aces players voted. We know none of the Sparks players voted because they didn't even get, they didn't get the emails. The emails went to spam. So, we know the Sparks players didn't vote. So we know that's why Kelsey Plum went to 12. My guess is that none of the Vegas players voted either.
Fact that some believe that she's not even worthy of being in the top 4 or being a starter amongst these all-star players is to me foolishness, because you have to look at the basketball. You have to break down the tape. But it tells me, are you watching the entire game? There's a lot of great players in this league. I could talk to you guys for hours about them. Caitlin Clark is exceptional. She is extraordinary. She is elite. She is incredibly difficult to defend. She plays on extraordinary angles, both with and without the basketball. And
I'm not going to say she plays at extraordinary angles without the basketball. She is a very good shooter off the ball. She is a very good shooter running to her left where she can turn off her right shoulder off the move. There is no better movement shooter fading. Basically, she can catch the ball on a fadeaway as long as she's going over this shoulder. And the reason is because she releases the ball from this side of her head, and to gain more power, she kind of brings it more to this side. So her power is from getting the ball here. So when she gets the ball on that turn, she's bringing it up into that position. Then she can kind of get her arms. She gets longer arm movement there. Gotta be real here. That is for me anyway, that's where I'm like, okay, this is why Caitlin can do that. And it's why she struggles kind of going the other way, because she kind of has to bring it back and up. It's a kind of 2 movement thing. Anyway, let's keep listening.
And she is very unpredictable, I would tell you, defensively. Her ability to consistently hit anywhere from a 25 to a 30-foot jump shot from behind the arc, which is roughly 22 and change.
Ironically, she is the fact is that it's not that she's unpredictable, it's that she can pull from anywhere. So that even though she wants to go downhill going right, because she can take that one step going right and then push off her right foot into the side step, because she can take that one dribble going right, push off her right foot, and while she goes into the side step, get back into rhythm, it means that what you can't do is you can't adjust to the right foot jab or the right foot first step by jumping back too much, because if you do, she pulls back into the shot. And if you don't and you play her up, she can burn you with that right step. So it's not that she's unpredictable. It's that she has one move and a counter. Like it's as simple as that. It is unpredictable. It is tough because she has one move and the only way to stop that one move is by leaving her open for a counter. And the only real way to stop her one move and a counter is by hand checking. Like, it is not about her necessarily being unpredictable. It is literally a case where it's like she does a few things really well, but those few things complement each other really well. And it's so hard to stop because if you stop one thing, she does this. And if you stop the other thing, you're like, for you to stop the drive and then stop the pullback, you are completely out of your stance moving forward. And then it is pass cut. Then it is one dribble, she's by you. Then it is she hits you with that one step or one dribble behind the back and she's at the basket. It's really tough to stop her. Not necessarily says Clark isn't a good shooter, she has a good first quarter. Like, I don't think people understand that over the course of a season, you can talk about the difference between shooting 32 and 36% from three, which is at the WNBA level, the difference between a decent and a great shooter, considering the shot she takes. Over the course of a game, shooting 4% different from three is irrelevant. She shoots 9 threes a game. She makes one more three if she made one more three every 2 games on average, it's a big thing. But you don't take that risk. Just like when Breanna Mabry shot 27% from three last season, you don't take the risk. Just like when Sabrina shoots 29% from three seasons in a row, you don't take that risk.
Is consistent. And even when she's out there and she's getting all this defensive attention, in her face attention, she still has to use that gather step to create space. And she still makes those shots. And what's really challenging, I would say to you guys from watching it, is she's hard to blitz, she's hard to double team, she's as good a passer as she
They are pissed.
is a scorer. And so it makes her
She's a better passer than she's a scorer. She is a better passer than she is a scorer. I cannot stress that enough. Like, that's for me, that's the biggest problem this year, is that her playmaking has become a non-factor. Like, I think she's the best playmaker in the league, but her playmaking has become nearly a non-factor in how her game goes, which is why I hate Steph White's system, because her game is relegated to makes or misses.
menace to defend, and that's why you see a lot of the contact. That's why, frankly, I mean, egos come into play. You ain't getting got by Caitlin Clark when you step in between those lines, and it makes her also very difficult to officiate. So there's a lot of layers to this. This is a damn good basketball player. Yeah, it's quite a time.
And love seeing it. I love seeing just how pissed they are, because they can go on this, because otherwise, like, you can have this whole rant about Caitlin Clark. And my favorite thing about the Caitlin Clark rants is it never breaks down basketball. It's just she's bad at defense. Like, explain to me the aspects of defense she's good and bad at. And like, I'll fully break down Caitlin Clark's defense, whether it's like good or bad. Like, I mean this right now. Caitlin Clark, there have been games where Caitlin Clark has been bad on defense. And first half of the first game against the Dallas Wings is the worst defense. Play the rest of the clip. I've played the rest of the clip. That's 1 second. That's 1 second of it. I'm not playing David Dennis rant. I'm not playing David Dennis saying Caitlin Clark's not better than Breanna Mabry because of defense. Again, that's like saying that, I don't know, I'm just trying to get two players that are out of shape. It's like saying that Luka Doncic needs to get in the same shape as Boris Diaw. Like, we're having a mid-off right here. We're having a mid-off. Like, yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Bad body language. She's bad at hustling, bad at defense, bad at hustling. Caitlin Clark's not a bad defender. She's not a good defender. There's a big difference between being a mediocre defender with a high offensive load, so your defensive energy isn't fully there. There's a big difference between that and being a bad defender. Like, she's a better defender than Kelsey Mitchell. She is a better defender than Kelsey Mitchell. Like, you've seen the last couple of games. The problem is the Steph White system allows them to just isolate on a defender. Like, Kelsey Mitchell got ISO'd the entire game against Phoenix. Twice. Both Phoenix losses, Kelsey Mitchell got ISO'd for the entire game. Hayden falls leave on defense all the time. Yeah, that's what I mean. There are times there is a lack of focus. There are times there is a lack of effort. That is the problem when it comes to Caitlin. But she's a bang average defender 80% of the time. Like, she is a much better defender than Luka Doncic. She doesn't over. She expends so much energy on offense that she's not going to go and make hustle plays. Nor should any superstar guard, especially. Nor should no superstar guard should ever be caught diving on a basketball. Like, it's idiotic. It's idiotic. Name bad defenders in the W if Caitlin Clark is average. Let me just take a look at guards. Like, I call her a 5 out of 10 defender. So, okay, who starts? She's much better defender than Charlize Ledger Walker. She is a better defender than... I shit you not. She's a better defender than Lexi Hull. She's a better defender than Tahina Pau. She's a better defender than... No, she's equivalent-ish to Paige. She's a better defender than Kelsey Plum. She's a better defender than Erica Wheeler. She's a better perimeter defender than Chelsea Gray, not a better defender than Chelsea Gray. She's a equivalent defender to Olivia Miles. She's a better defender than Sabrina. She's a better defender than Astier. For the Mercury, she's not a better defender than Held, so maybe no on the Mercury. She's a better defender than Sarah Ashley Barker. She's a better defender than Jane Melbourne. She's a better defender than Heidemann. She's a better defender than Mabry. She's a better defender than like All Black from Portland. She's a better defender than Julie Alamond. She's a better defender than Georgia Amor and Alicia Flores. I'm just looking at guards to play. No, she's not a better defender than any one of the Valkyries. She's a better defender than... She's not that much worse than Alicia Gray. I hate saying this season, not that much worse than Alicia Gray. But yeah, it is what it is. What is kids now losing interest in basketball in the UK? You mean the same UK that's going through, for lack of a better word, its greatest period of basketball of all time? There are so many players. Like I like a bunch of I have been semi involved. Like, I nearly went to Barking Abbey after school, like, to play at an academy over there. Like, I've played against Akwasi Yeboah. I've played against a bunch of like the guys that are doing like legit pros now. And I'm like, fucking Sohan. I know he's not playing for England, but Sohan grew up in England. It's your fucking golden era right now. And Akwasi's so good. He's so good. Jeff Teague says he stopped turning the ball over. Well, yeah, Jeff Teague wasn't a high turnover point guard either. Like, Jeff Teague was just a guy. It's like saying Magic Johnson needed to stop turning the ball over this week. Internet's replacing sports. So that's why you've got did you just watch the U17 World Cup? It's the highest level of young players are playing basketball. The best young players are playing basketball at the highest level ever for those age. And I'm not saying the best of the best aren't the same, but like the 18-year-olds now are on average so much better than the 18-year-olds a couple of years ago. So much better. Like, if you watch, you cannot say that sports has gone downhill and watch the U17 World Cup. Like, USA are going to kill everybody because at those ages, other countries don't have the 1 to 2 players to compete, don't have the squad depth to compete with USA, but every one of those teams has 2 to 3 players that would play for the USA. And like, France had 2 players that would have been USA starters. Serbia might have had the best player in the tournament. Like, 2028 NBA draft, very good chance that it's it's Europeans 1-2. It's very good chance in 2028 it's Europeans 1-2. And then you're looking, it's not even the fact that the top couple of picks are bad. It's that, like, now you're looking at undrafted players in men's now you're looking, it used to be a case where if you were not a top 5 pick, you probably weren't making the WNBA. And now it's literally a case where there's undrafted rookies coming in and hooping. Like, the overall standard of world basketball has gotten so much better. Even if you want to argue the tippity top players, like, aren't that much better. The overall players have gotten a lot better. But yeah, so I want to talk about this one topic here. And this is, I'm probably going to lose 100 subscribers. By the way, I've lost 100 subscribers in the last 48 hours. Which is a fun one. Which is always a fun one. 100 subscribers down in 48 hours. Like, I'm happy you guys got me to 60.3k. I said at the time, you were like, you're never going to go into 60k. I told you guys, if you didn't get me to like at least 60.3k, I was going to lose a bunch of subscribers. I lost 100 in the last day. But I'm going to talk about this topic right here. And I feel like it is an important one. Like, it is a really, really important one to talk about. And it's coming into tomorrow and what my prediction for tomorrow is. So a lot of people have been talking to me about like what the story is with Ty Harris, Stephanie White, and what we expect from Caitlin tomorrow, because Caitlin's almost certainly going to be playing. I have a feeling that not that Caitlin Clark's not going to start the game, because they're two different questions right there. Like, I think that Caitlin Clark is going to start the game very clearly. Like, it is a crazy statement. Like, a lot of people are like, Caitlin's going to come off the bench. No, they're not going to do that. You are not going to alienate your star player by bringing them off the bench. You're not going to do that, especially when these type of things are happening. So that we need to stop that right now. Caitlin is going to start the game. But there is a big but here. I don't know if Caitlin Clark is going to be the primary point guard for main stages of games. Like, I think Caitlin Clark, her rotations are going to be this. She's going to start the game. She is going to play 3 minutes. And Ty Harris is going to check in for Caitlin. And then Caitlin is going to check in for Kelsey Mitchell at around the 8-minute mark. My prediction is that we see Caitlin play, like, her minutes are going to start with a 2, and it's going to be a tactical 2. Like, even if she's if she's there on a minutes restriction, we know when it comes down to minutes restrictions, if you're looking at a coach, and there's a big difference between what Stephanie White did versus the normal minutes restriction. Stephanie White made sure Caitlin Clark was off the court at every key time in the game. Other than the start, at every key time in the game, Caitlin Clark was sitting on the bench. Late in the game, anytime you're like, okay, this is where the Fever need to make a run, this is where the Fever can come back, Caitlin was sitting on the bench. It was Ty Harris and Kelsey Mitchell. And you could see where it was like, okay, yeah, look, we're kind of fucked here. We're in a bit of foul trouble. We have to play Dantas and Van Sloot. And it's like, okay, yeah, Caitlin, this isn't really the key time of the game. We're fucked anyway. We're fucked anyway no matter what. So we'd rather just get we'd rather have you on the floor now in these minutes and get Ty rest here, because, well, look, we gotta pray that one of you or Kelsey Mitchell can cook. But it's like, that was the only time where it's like, oh, Caitlin, if you can cook, you can cook. And the way the team play, the way the team act when Caitlin's on the floor, it's like, it's completely different. So my expectation is that, like, Caitlin's going to start. If this game is close, I don't know if Caitlin finishes. Like, I don't know if Stephanie White has the balls to do it. But, like, I can see Stephanie White using minutes restriction as an excuse for Caitlin not finishing a game. I think it's going to happen. And, like, again, I could be just overthinking things. But like, they're playing the Las Vegas Aces. This is a game where if you look at Stephanie White, how she plays against the Aces. She has coached against the Aces, I don't even know how many times. But the Indiana Fever have a winning record against the Aces with Stephanie White. The Indiana Fever have never beaten the Aces with Caitlin Clark. They have a winning record. Like, they are 5-3 against the Aces without Caitlin Clark since Steph White took over. It's very clear with Stephanie White that she is I'm going to game plan X's and O's. I'm going to counter what you do. I'm going to see what you do and I'm going to counter and we're going to win by that. And that's obviously a fine way of looking at basketball. The problem is that there's a proactive player in Caitlin Clark, and what she's scared of is when Caitlin Clark's on the floor, it's, for lack of a better word, the Fever are easier to game plan for. Just like the Aces are easy to game plan for with Angel Wilson's on the floor. You know what Angel Wilson's going to do. You just can't really stop it a lot of times. But Stephanie White wants to throw in triple fakes, as in she wants to come out with a tactic that will bamboozle the opponent and win the coaching battle, and then turn it into a chess game where, it's a battle of her versus Becky Hammon, and she's confident that she can win that matchup. The problem is that when you've got Caitlin Clark on the floor, you can't do that. So I have this really weird feeling that we're going to see a lot of Caitlin Clark sitting on that bench. We're going to see a lot of her sitting on that bench. And we're going to see her sitting on the bench at weird times. Like, it's not a case where Caitlin's going to come off the bench. And a lot of people are like, oh, Caitlin is going to be benched. And I'm like, no. I said as well, it's hard to justify. From a basketball standpoint, it was hard to justify not starting Ty Harris. And look, Ty Harris did not sign up to be a starter. She's not going to be pissed off she's coming off the bench. You don't sign as a point guard for the Indiana Fever with the expectation that at any stage in the year you're going to start. But I'm being very clear. I think she's going to play the key minutes. I think she's going to play all the key minutes here tomorrow. And I think Steph White's probably hoping that, it's a blowout and Caitlin can be on the floor. Caitlin can be on the floor late in the game so it doesn't start anything. But I think if this game's close down the stretch, we're going to see minutes restriction be used as a reason for Caitlin Clark being benched. Like, I think everyone's so obsessed with who's going to start and who's not. Caitlin Clark's going to start. It's simple. Caitlin Clark is going to start. There's no question about that. I think it's going to be a lot of Caitlin on the bench. And Caitlin felt fine. She hasn't played in a few weeks. She said she didn't even get gassed. Like, her back's fine. Like, it's clear that with her back is like, whatever it is a mechanical issue with her running, that it's not a injury per se. It's that sometimes her back injury, she starts overcompensating and it affects other parts of her body. And her back injury is probably caused by some form of overcompensation. Like, you're either good to go. With those type of injuries, you're either good to go or you're not. Like, it's very clear. Even on Wednesday, like, she was either good to go or she wasn't. And she was clearly good to go. And Steph White just didn't want to play her. And, like, there's no way that the 2-minute spurts and coming in to start the third quarter after halftime and then playing 90 seconds getting subbed off. That was tactical. That was tactical by Stephanie White. She'll never say it, but it was. But yeah, it's as simple as that. Like, when it comes to the Fever, I think we could be seeing Caitlin Clark not come off the bench, but her minutes are going to start with a 2. It's very, very obvious. Her minutes are going to start with a 2. My fear is that not only are her minutes going to start with a 2, I'm worried that her minutes are going to start with a 2, and that second number is going to be 1 or 2. I think she's going to play less minutes than Ty Harris. That is my theory. I think Ty Harris will play more minutes than Caitlin Clark. And it doesn't really matter who starts. Just like it did not matter that Kirsten Bell started for the Aces last year. She played 7 minutes a game. She just started to start. Like she was, I don't even know what it is. Like it could be at the stage now where, and just say again, if you like Lexi Hull's starting just to start for the Fever, by the way. Like Lexi Hull has played less minutes than Sophie Cunningham basically every single game. She's starting just for the sake of it. And my fear is that, especially against the Aces, the Fever are going to start. Like the Fever are going to basically have Caitlin Clark as a de facto starter. As in, the Fever are gonna with Stephanie White. It's a big two. The Fever have a big two, and then Caitlin plays when we play Caitlin her minutes because we kind of have to, and we kind of almost game plan for her to have as little impact on the final score as possible, because it's kind of clear that what Stephanie White wants to do. That's my prediction. I could be wrong. That's my guess at what's going to happen tomorrow. Why they won't trade Caitlin Clark? Because of optics. Like literally, optics is the only reason the Fever have not traded Caitlin Clark yet. And I gotta be real here. Like it is optics. It is optics. Because the Fever is not Caitlin Clark's team. Jeez, it's Kelsey Mitchell's team. To the extent where I'm not joking. I think if they let her go, they're fucked. They're fucked. Like if they let Kelsey Mitchell go, they're screwed next year. Because I think if you have Kelsey, like if you replaced Kelsey Mitchell with Raven Johnson in the starting lineup, it has the exact same positive effect as if you replaced Caitlin Clark with Ty Harris. Like it's one or the other. The two of them are going your turn, my turn. And that's never going to work. This reminds me of like 2008 Allen Iverson. So what would you guys say? What's everyone's thought of Nuggets Allen Iverson? Everyone, when it comes to Nuggets Allen Iverson, is like, oh, that was, post-prime Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was washed and all this stuff. What if I told you that Allen Iverson, in his last season for the Denver Nuggets, averaged 26.4 points per game on the highest field goal percentage of his career? He averaged the most efficient scoring of his career and averaged 26.5 points per game. The problem was Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony did not work because they went your turn, my turn. They were better without Carmelo Anthony on the floor and without Allen Iverson on the floor. By trading Iverson for Chauncey Billups, who was just a better point guard. This is post-prime Chauncey Billups. This isn't even peak Chauncey Billups. This is post-prime Chauncey Billups. This is in his 30s Chauncey Billups. They were significantly better. They made the Western Conference Finals. And like at that stage, Chauncey Billups was a role player point guard. You replaced a semi-efficient 26.5% scorer, or 26.5 points per game scorer, and you got better. Because Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony were going your turn, my turn. It was a case where there was no team ball. Everyone was out of rhythm. They're going your turn, my turn. In 2024, Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark, there was a clear hierarchy of touches on that team. It was, if you watch, I mean this, watch the first two games post-Olympic break and watch Kelsey Mitchell. Whenever Kelsey Mitchell got the ball and she wasn't one dribble from the basket or wide open for a shot, Kelsey Mitchell recycled the ball, dribbled it back out, gave it back to Caitlin, and Caitlin would run something else. Because 80% of the time, Caitlin's getting the ball to Kelsey. Caitlin's getting the ball to Aaliyah. And a lot of the time, it was Caitlin off the double, gets it to Aaliyah, Kelsey Mitchell cuts. Kelsey Mitchell spots up. Kelsey Mitchell comes off the handoff. She's getting her shots within the flow of an offense. She's getting her shots within the flow of the offense. And Caitlin Clark was initiating the offense. So Caitlin Clark was an offensive initiator. Aaliyah Boston was a screener. She didn't score many points. Like, I think people forget that Aaliyah Boston did not score many points in that spell where the Fever was killing everything, because Aaliyah Boston was basically She was a link player. She was kind of a hub. It didn't look like that on the score sheet, but like they were kind of playing through Aaliyah Boston a lot. It was like Caitlin, Aaliyah, Kelsey Mitchell as our play finisher. Kelsey Mitchell was the main play finisher. Caitlin got a lot of her shots in transition and on reversals, and she got a lot of open shots because of it. And it worked out perfectly. Now we're at the stage where, if you guys know, are watching the Indiana Fever and their offense right now, the Indiana Fever offense is, when it's working at its best, it is, we are moving the ball side to side until Kelsey Mitchell touches it. And once Kelsey Mitchell touches the ball, Kelsey Mitchell is going to the basket. And that means either Kelsey Mitchell is drawing 5 players and putting it up, Kelsey Mitchell is chucking a 3 off 7 dribbles, or Kelsey Mitchell is passing the ball to the side, and a lot of the times the defense collapses on driving kicks, and Kelsey Mitchell either gets her assist or hockey assists. And that works. It worked in the playoffs, it works now. The problem is now is that Caitlin Clark is a rhythm player. Caitlin Clark needs touches. She needs to be making, like, Caitlin Clark makes difficult passes, and she'll go and make 3, 4, 5 of them in a row, but like she might need 1 to 2 turnovers to kind of get used to it. It was the same, I think it was the tempo game. I can't remember what it was, where Caitlin threw 3 turnovers in the first maybe 6 possessions of the game, and they were all like slightly off. Everything just felt slightly off, but they were trying to get in the rhythm, and she ended up with 10 assists and didn't turn the ball over the rest of the game because she stayed aggressive with her passing. So Caitlin's trying to force. The problem is Caitlin knows if the ball touches Kelsey Mitchell's hand, it's boom, 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 I'm going. So it's like, so Caitlin's now realizing like, okay, I've got to force this rhythm. So I gotta run something that is, the offense is me getting an assist pass, me being able to make a pass, me being able to get a shot is not coming from the offense. So I'm going to force something. If I run this offense, I got to go ISO. I don't want to go ISO. Let me just force a pick and roll to start the offense. And suddenly Caitlin Clark is chucking shots. Before, like, Caitlin Clark's dribbling the ball up the floor and chucking a shot before anyone else has touched the ball, which is bad on Caitlin, but she's trying to get into her rhythm, get into her game, and trying to force it. But now you've got Kelsey Mitchell then, who, if you guys watch, when Caitlin Clark's on the floor, Kelsey Mitchell doesn't touch the ball anymore. Kelsey hardly touches the ball when Caitlin Clark's on the floor. Like, that is an actual thing. Especially, like, if you're looking, Caitlin Clark is looking off Kelsey Mitchell. You should never look off Kelsey Mitchell. But the reason why she's looking off Kelsey Mitchell early in the offense is she knows she's never touching the ball again if she does it. And she's trying to force rhythm, and she knows if she passes the ball to Kelsey Mitchell and watch Kelsey Mitchell go dribble, 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 shoot, she's never going to get into her own rhythm. And then she can no longer help the team. It is a case where both of these, you can quote box scores, you can show ESPN stats, and you can be like, look at what these two players are putting up. Yeah, this is Iverson and Carmelo. They're going your turn, my turn. And both of them, by the way, Caitlin Clark is way better at basketball. Way better at basketball than she was as a rookie or even last year. She was crippled last year, but she's way better at basketball. Kelsey Mitchell is way better at basketball than she was 2 years ago. They're both so much better. And the problem is now is that Kelsey Mitchell is she's in a contract year. 2024 Kelsey Mitchell is not getting a max contract. You are not getting a max contract in this league to be a second option guard, especially not after the first year of the CBA. Kelsey Mitchell wants a max contract from Indiana Fever or somewhere else. So she's not going back to, I'm taking a backseat to Caitlin and Aaliyah. She's out for hers. And also, she has a season where, oh shit, this system, we nearly made the finals. Why would I change? Why is it on me to change? And with Caitlin Clark, look, I think Kelsey Mitchell can be that off-ball player. I think Kelsey Mitchell could be that off-ball player and be that 2024 player and average similar points per game, do it with equal efficiency and not get in the way of Caitlin Clark. Like, I think she can absolutely go and play a style of basketball that doesn't get in the way of Caitlin Clark. But I don't blame her for thinking, why would I do that? It's on Caitlin to adjust. And the problem is that For Kelsey, it's adjusting to something she does well. For Caitlin, it's not an adjustment. Everyone's like, Caitlin needs to adapt. The problem is it's not adapting. Michael Jordan adapted his game for the triangle offense. What Stephanie White and Kelsey Mitchell would rather Caitlin Clark do is become Ty Harris. Is completely change her game. Is like 180 your game. Like, it's a big difference between adapting and 180 in your game. You can't become you cannot become a new player. You can adapt. Adapting and becoming a new player are two very different things. And the problem is that if Caitlin just had to adapt, I would say, okay, yeah, it's on Caitlin. The problem is that Caitlin pretty much has to be a new player, has to become a brand new player to fit into what they're trying to do right now. And I don't think a player at 25 years old is capable of being a star is capable of being a new player. Especially quickly. They're not saying Taurasi and Cavi Pondexter won 2 championships in 4 years playing your turn, my turn. Yeah, it's 2026. You're not winning playing your turn, my turn. It's 2026. You're just not. You're just not. Teams are too advanced. Teams are too smart. Teams are going to realize that and let you go your turn, my turn, and punish you on the other end. You're just not doing that. And the thing is that, look, Stephanie White has a clear vision of how she wants the team to play. And I hate saying it. I really, really hate saying it. Saying Stephanie White gave Caitlin the keys last year, and I think you can argue she did, to an extent. The problem is that Kelsey Mitchell, when Caitlin Clark got hurt, it was Kelsey's team. It was Kelsey's team. And from the moment Caitlin Clark got hurt for the year till the end of the year, they nearly won the championship. Or nearly got to the finals. So, look, I get it. If Caitlin Clark wasn't such a big name and this was purely basketball reasons, like, teams have done this before. Teams have done this where they have a certain style of play, they have a certain way of playing, and their star goes out. And that style of play is successful. And then they bring their star back. And their star tries to play the way they used to. And then it just doesn't work out. And in every single one of those situations, that star that gets brought in is let go. And the problem is, and look, I mean this. This would have happened the opposite way, by the way. If Kelsey Mitchell got hurt last year, touch wood, she never gets hurt. But if she was hurt and if she was hurt and Caitlin Clark was given full reign and she was healthy, the team probably does the same thing. The team, Caitlin Clark, a team fully on her back, probably carries that team past the Atlanta Dream. Because again, Caitlin Clark has only lost once in her career to the Dream before that. Probably leads them past the Dream, probably leads them competitive with the Aces. And we're having a conversation of whether or not Kelsey Mitchell, it's worth keeping Kelsey Mitchell, and why the fuck did we pay Kelsey Mitchell? Because she's going to walk for nothing, and rather than just coring and trading Kelsey Mitchell. Like, we're having this conversation then. But that's not what happened. The star that was out and is coming back is Caitlin Clark. And the style of play, the team very clearly wants to play the style of play that nearly got into the finals last year. And it's obvious by how they're playing. It's obvious with their effort. They would rather be that underdog, gritty team. We're going to fight for wins, togetherness. We're going to fight for each other. And Kelsey, Aaliyah, you guys take us home. We're going to do everything for you guys. And the difference is that you can't have an underdog mentality. You can't have an underdog mentality when you got Caitlin Clark on your team because she's so good. Like, that whole shtick is gone. So yes, this is Kelsey Mitchell's team. And it's not a wrong thing. It's a choice. It's likely a choice made by Stephanie White, and whether she wants to admit it or not, like, based on her decisions, it is. And look, that's fine. That's fine. Like, if Denver decided in 2009 that they wanted to keep Allen Iverson, I said every time the Fever came back, this team was unbeatable. They lost. They were this close to losing to the last place Sun with her last year. They lost to the Valks twice after blowing double-digit leads with her last year. They lost to Dream with her last year. They lost to the Liberty with her last year. They lost to they blew a double-digit lead against the Aces with her last year. That's a lot of games. Like they were 8-5. Like they were 3 games above 500 with her last year. I'm not saying they weren't better with her last year than without her, but like they were. It's not like they were a championship team with her last year. They got hot at the right time. Yep, I agree. I said that coming into playoffs. They absolutely got hot at the right time. The thing is that it's a style of play that Stephanie White used to keep Connecticut as contenders while losing 3 of their 4 best players. Like, it works. Like, Stephanie White's system will get you a top 5 seed. Will get you the 5th seed. Like, it is what it is. Like, Stephanie White's system is Stephanie White's system. It'll get you a 5th seed. We don't know. We actually don't know what Caitlin Clark as a head of the snake with a team of players that suit Caitlin Clark can do. And if you want to make the argument that, oh, Caitlin Clark, like that system will never win. Okay, we don't know. We don't know. Like that system went 8-2 over a 10-game stretch on a team that included Katie Lou Samuelson starting, Nalissa Smith, an out-of-shape Nalissa Smith, before she learned how to play defense. Fucking Damiris Dantas, Christy Wallace, Erica Wheeler. And they went 8-2. And Aaliyah, who's not as good as she is right now. And Caitlin, who is not as skilled as who is not as good a basketball player as she is right now. That's what that system did. 8-2. So I'm gonna be real. We've never seen what Caitlin Clark's system looks like in a system that works, or with a bunch of players that fit the system. We don't know. We don't know. It could be the best thing ever. It might not work. The problem is that we never got to see it. We never got to see it. But yeah, it is good luck to Conor McGregor. Yeah, I hope he gets the crap beaten out of him. I hope he gets the crap beaten out of him. I think near 99% of Irish people would say the same. Stephanie White never won anything. Let's not go to the never won anything narratives. Let's not go to those never won anything narratives. We're not doing that. Why? Because you can say the same shit about Caitlin Clark. I will never say never won anything because Caitlin Clark also has technically never won anything. Let's not do that. Let's not sink to those narratives because we lose that one. We lose that one. We lose that, and we lose that narrative. We lose that one. I mean that. Like, we're not doing that because we lose that narrative. Okay, so Stephen A. Smith coming to the defense of Caitlin Clark needs to learn to fall in line. Would you tell Luka Doncic? This is the same shit they said about Luka. She is what she is. She's that type of basketball player. You can have extreme success with that type of basketball player. Like it's like saying LeBron James needs to learn how to play, needs to fall in line and pass the ball more to Mario Chalmers. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. But Stephen A. Smith calling out Emmanuel Acho right here for what was the dumbest take of all time. For what was the dumbest take of all time. Let's take a listen. Oh, sorry. I'm muted.
Unless we can take off our gloves for Caitlin Clark and stop trying to act like she's a messiah, the WNBA could and would be better off without Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark.
That was the dumbest thing I have ever heard anyone say. Like, am I the only one that thinks that might be the dumbest take? Even David Dennis Jr. wouldn't do that. Maybe one of the dumbest takes is the silence is compliance and Caitlin Clark is fully MAGA take from the well, I can't even remember where it was. Maybe that's the worst one. 6 days after she was like, I don't want my name to be used in any narratives. Can you please stop? It's affecting me. It's actually affecting me mentally. I see this. I'm human. And then they continue to treat her like she's subhuman. That's a pretty bad take too. That's a really bad take too. But the Acho one might be the worst. Can anyone in chat think of a worse Caitlin Clark take? Other than maybe Kennedy Carter's, all she does is shoot threes take that she posted on social media. And I also want to shout out Kennedy Carter because this channel really got its first boom because of that Kennedy Carter shit. Because Kennedy Carter just constantly going on social media. Those are like my biggest videos. That was like the first ever boom I got, was just hawking Kennedy Carter's threads at the time. And just literally refreshing that and seeing her post things to make sure I was first in the news about the dumb shit that Kennedy Carter was saying. But yeah, it is. Someone said it's a correct narrative. She's been coaching. How long are you going to wait for the win? I don't know. Caitlin and Cece on the same team. Kennedy and Caitlin on the same team next year. That would be hilarious.
Is the cash cow. I don't care what numbers you see the WNBA making. They're nothing compared to the numbers Caitlin Clark
Thank you so much, Roger, for the $10. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
generates for the WNBA. She comes into the league, and 2 weeks later, after years and years of flying commercial, they get chartered flights. When they talk about their bloated attendance numbers, they feed off of her. And
I hate saying this. Indiana are closer to fourth in home attendance than they are to second. And the likelihood is that over the next year or two, the Indiana Fever are probably going to drop out of the top 5 in home attendance. I hate saying that, but they're probably going to drop out of top 5 in home attendance. The Dallas Wings just set the largest attendance of all time. That being said, it just happened to be the biggest arena ever in Montreal. And let's be real, it would be also broken if it was the Fever. It would have been broken if it was 8 teams out of 10, or 14 out of 15 teams would have broke that attendance record. They all probably would have. The reality is that the attendance probably record, because it was just in a big arena. If somebody wanted to host, if somebody got when Iowa had the football stadium for 50,000 people, if a team wanted to say, okay, we're going to have the world's largest arena and we're going to get 100,000 people in and it's made a big event, if you had Caitlin Clark there, you'd sell out 100,000 tickets if it was in a non-WNBA city and everyone's like, oh, this big event's happening. Okay, yeah, cool. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Oh, it's going to be the record. They would all attend. Let's be very clear on that.
her contribution. Caitlin Clark did not build the WNBA. The WNBA was built on the backs of many people who came before Caitlin Clark, most of them being sisters. The Cynthia Coopers, the Cheryl Swoops of the world, the Lisa Leslies of the world.
I mean this. I don't think he can name 15 WNBA players in the past. I fully believe he does not know who Lauren Jackson is. He names the same 3 people every single time. Yes, they were big for the WNBA. I actually agree with that. But I'm just making a point that I actually don't think he can name 15 players in the history of the WNBA.
The Maya Moores of the world. Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Breanna Steward. I certainly ain't forget about Sabrina Ionescu, but you got a lot.
What did Sabrina Ionescu do to the WNBA? I cannot stress this enough. What did Sabrina Ionescu do to the WNBA? What did she do for the W? Literally nothing. Literally nothing. Some people literally say the hatred to Caitlin Clark was because of how bad Sabrina Ionescu was when she came in. The hype for Sabrina versus how bad she was. They blamed the overhyping of Sabrina on why Caitlin got so much hate. Sabrina Ionescu is grand. She's fine. She's good. She's an all-star. That's it.
A lot of sisters that have balled in the WNBA for years that made the WNBA what it was. Asia Wilson, 3-time champion. But the money, the bag, the rating, the collective bargaining agreement, all of that came after Caitlin Clark arrived.
Yeah, like, you know it's bad when Stephen A. Smith stating the obvious is seen as like, you know, him clapping back. Like, you've got a hot take merchant going and stating the obvious. Like, how bad do you have to be? Genuinely. How bad do you have to be as a, just overall, as a, like, take for Stephen A. Smith to be able to respond by stating the obvious? Like, if Stephen A. Smith can respond by just stating the obvious, it means your take is so outlandish that it's crazy. Because normally there is a state the obvious take, and for Stephen A. Smith to get clicks, he needs to say the most outlandish and crazy bullshit take imaginable. Like, he'll go and do that. He'll go and have to do that because he's not going to clicks otherwise. Because it's hard, because Stephen A. Smith lives on sports debates. He's got to be able to debate something. If his debate rebuttal is stating the obvious, you know your take is so crazy. You know your take is so crazy. And again, let's not forget the Emmanuel Acho situation all stemmed from Caitlin Clark getting jumped on, kneed, and a fist to the throat. It all stemmed from that. It all stemmed from that. Like, all of this stemmed from a cheap shot by Alyssa Thomas. And yeah, that is AT for you. That is AT. If you want to say Caitlin Clark has caused irreparable damage to the league, I'm sorry. If anyone wants to complain about the referees, Alyssa Thomas taking out Fee's ankle is one of the main reasons why the referee stuff changed. All this bullshit was caused by Alyssa Thomas deciding she wanted to hurt somebody. Well, maybe not deciding she wanted to hurt somebody, but looking like she decided to go out to hurt somebody. That's why the referees changed as well. Anyway, I'll see you guys. All right, so I got a few more topics to talk about on this live stream. A few more topics to talk about. Obviously, these are bench, Sophie Viral, Custom Mitchell's team. Oh, I got to actually talk about this right here. And it's really frustrating me. It is really, 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 really frustrating me. And it's about Paige. So one thing that's really annoying me about the whole situation around Paige right now is that if you guys have been watching Paige play, so Paige has one major, I need to say had. There's one major flaw with Paige Bueckers as a player. And it is that Paige Bueckers has been, up to about 3 weeks ago, incredibly passive. Paige had the ability to be not only the best guard, the best player in the league. She has that ability. Like, if you look at the ability to shoot the three, shoot the mid-range, drive left, drive right, finish with the left hand, finish with the right hand, finish from the mid-range pull-up, finish from the post fade, finish off her left shoulder, finish off her right shoulder. Thank you so much for the $5, JT Ford. Really appreciate that. There is no more varied scorer in the WNBA than Paige Bueckers. Like, there's just not. And the problem is that I've always said Paige Bueckers might have that dog in her, but the dog that's in Paige Bueckers is, one of those like dogs that the socialites used to have in their handbags in the mid-2000s. And that was my one flaw. And I've said this for the last year. Paige frustrated me so much because she could be so much better than she is. That passive Paige might be dead. Passive Paige might just be dead. Because holy shit. Whatever happened in that Chicago game, when in fairness, Chicago got robbed. But when Paige Bueckers hit that crazy fadeaway. It wasn't an and one, but that crazy fadeaway three after shitting her pants for a quarter and a half of that game, coming into the last 90 seconds with 14 points. Or sorry, was it 10 points? She had 10 points going into the last 19 seconds of that game. Or was it 90 seconds? Yeah. And ending up with 19. She had 9 points in the last 90 seconds. And in the next game, against Seattle, she has 14 points with 2 minutes to go and ends with like 26. And then a couple of games later, she does the same shit to Connecticut. And it's like, she's now one of the most clutch players in the league. But it really frustrates me. I'm going to show you guys some of these clips. Like, it really frustrates me with Paige is that Paige has been reduced to, see, she's better than Caitlin Clark. Paige has been reduced to that. She's playing so fucking well that it's like, people are like, oh, she's better than Caitlin Clark. See, look at her deep. She's so much better of a defender. Oh, look, there's no turnovers. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, if you reduce Paige Bueckers into what she does differently than Caitlin Clark, into she's better because she plays a different style of basketball than Caitlin Clark, you are ignoring the fact that this is the most crazy. This is like some crazy heater she's on right now. Like, she doesn't seem like she's able to miss. She doesn't seem like she's able to miss right now. And if you're saying overly glazing, I'm not out here saying Paige Bueckers is the greatest guard of all time. I'm saying that, like, I'm sorry, like, look at the shit she's putting up. Look at the shit she's putting up. I'm sorry. Like, that's not even a follow through. She's not even following through on her shots and they're going in. Like, she is literally now gotten to the stage where it's like, okay, this is the Paige Bueckers that everybody thought was going to be there in 2019. Like, that is a one leg, all foot fade away to the right. Like, if you've ever played basketball, like, this is a all-footed Dirk fade from mid. You don't understand how anyone who's never played basketball does not understand how difficult this is. How difficult this footwork into this shot is. And she's not even following through. She's just releasing the ball and it's going in. She's on this like crazy heater. She followed through with extending her arm there. Maria Conde pushing up, beats her off the screen. Boom, she's pulling up from three now. She did a Steph Curry. They're down 3. They are down 3 points. And she ran off. She did a Steph Curry. She puts it up, is like, that's good, and runs off. She runs back while the ball's in the air because she knows it's going in. Like, this is a player that's in some of the most ridiculous heater form. She regularly is now hitting shots where she's getting fouled by a defender, and as she's on her way to the ground, chest passing the ball into the basket. Why is she being fucking... And same with Mabry now. Why are they being reduced to the media saying, she's better than Caitlin? Why is she being reduced to a figure to put against Caitlin Clark? Because it takes away from the fact that this shit is ridiculous. Why is she being limited to Caitlin comparisons? Like, she's looking like a turbocharged Taurasi. She's looking like a Taurasi with better efficiency. They don't play remotely similar. They don't even play the same position. We got to be real here. When Odyssey Sims is not in the lineup, Jess Shepard's their team's point guard. But, like, this is the fourth quarter, 6 minutes to go, up 2. Shit is nasty. This shit is so nasty. Like, this is so nasty. Again, 6 minutes to go. They're up 4 points, 4 minutes to go. Let me go and get it to Arike. And that's when I can make those passes. Like, she's killing it. She's killing it. She's more aggressive. She's been clutch. This is everything anyone who's been negative on Paige Bueckers, all anyone has ever asked for out of Paige. But the media still reduces her to a vehicle to put down Caitlin Clark. And that's so unfair to Paige Bueckers. That's so unfair to what she's doing right now. And I've said this tons of times. I have been one of the most critical people of Paige Bueckers on this platform. I've been one of the most critical because it's been a purely basketball criticism. But right now, over the last 6 games, she's been the best player in the league. And again, that is a 6-game sample size. There has been multiple 6-game sample sizes where Caitlin Clark has been the best player in the league. Let's be very clear. Like, those are the type of things where it's like, okay, you can have that sample size. But it's the mentality shift. The biggest problem is a mentality shift. And her being reduced to, and let's be very clear, they're the 2 best guards in the league. They're the 2 best guards in the league. There's always going to be comparisons. There's always going to be comparisons of Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers. The problem is that one of them has been reduced in the media to the comparison. You will never hear the media hype up Paige Bueckers. And I don't mean the people that are like people like say pre-game talk and stuff. They'll talk about that. But the media will only talk about Paige Bueckers if it is in a comparison to Caitlin Clark. And that's unfair to Paige Bueckers. They are, nearly every positive article by a big major outlet is Paige was Caitlin before Caitlin, you know. Oh, Paige is what we thought Caitlin was going to be. Can anyone just give Paige credit for the fact that she's seemingly figured out her massive problem? Seemingly figured out her massive, massive problem is that she didn't realize she was Paige Bueckers. Paige, for however long it was, did not realize she was Paige Bueckers. When she went to UConn and is like, Jaina El Alfie, I'll give you the ball. You go and do something. KK Arnold, I'd rather you do something down the stretch than me. And that player wasn't there. That wasn't Hopkins Paige. They all talking about. They're like, oh, look, Paige can do this. Remember Hopkins Paige? And I'm like, you can't keep saying, oh, look at what she did in high school. She's been 5 years in high school. She went 5 years in college. And it took her a year in the WNBA. I mean this. Paige Bueckers was so passive last year that I blame her. I blame Paige Bueckers for why Dallas won 10 games last year. It was her fault. When you are a star and you are passive and your team keeps losing close games, it is your fault. It is your fault. Paige Bueckers was the reason her team lost. Her team won 10 games. That being said, Paige Bueckers over the last 10 games has been the reason why Dallas have won a lot of them. Paige Bueckers, Jess Shepard's been exceptional too. But down the stretch, when it matters, big points, big buckets, big stops. Paige is the reason why her team is winning games. Paige is becoming the reason why her team's winning games. And it is so annoying that she's been reduced to, see, look, she's better than Caitlin. And that's so unfair on her. It's so unfair. Because she's better than Caitlin. And even people in here are saying, look, she's way better than Caitlin. That is the worst thing ever. Because, let's be clear, they're the 2 best guards in the league. They are the 2 best guards in the league. Like, on any given day, Caitlin can be better than Paige and Paige can be better than Caitlin. It's just unfortunate that Caitlin went into a better situation. Caitlin was a better rookie than Paige was rookie. Like, it's just objectively, factually correct. Caitlin was given the keys as a rookie. Paige Bueckers was given the keys, but threw the keys away. Didn't want the keys, just wanted to fit in. And now we're in year 2. Paige is still being given the keys. And year 3 for Caitlin. And Caitlin's had the keys taken off her. Caitlin's had the keys taken off her and handed to Kelsey Mitchell. And they're in weird situations. Like, we're not going to be, there's no point evaluating either of their careers until they're done. There's no point. Because, let's be honest, they are both good enough that making the statement that one or the other is going to be the best guard of all time isn't a crazy statement. At 24 years old, they are the 2 best 24-year-old guards to ever live. Even over Taurasi. They are the 2 greatest 24-year-old guards to ever live. And we also have to factually say that like there's always going to be comparisons. The problem is that one of these two players is reduced to that. She is reduced to Caitlin Clark comparisons because the media, in a lot of scenarios, either don't watch games or they know they only get clicks when they mention Caitlin Clark, which is disappointing. But it's unfortunate. But yeah, she's been Caitlin Clark not top 4 or 5 guard. That is a wild statement to make. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. Like, top 4 or 5. That's fucking nuts. Are you trying to say Marina Mabry's better because she plays better defense or something? Are you going to use the Marina Mabry plays better defense than her? Narrative. Dallas has the better team. I think on paper they're probably about even. To be honest. I don't think Dallas is a significantly better team than Caitlin, than the Fever. Like, efficiency numbers are what they are. Like, we've seen, like, again, through 3 games of the finals, Jalen Brunson, was it like he took 80 shots to score 80 points? Like, efficiency is one of the less relevant things. It depends what like pure shooting percentages are kind of irrelevant. Kind of irrelevant at the end of the day. And yeah. Am I live? Yeah, I'm live. Thank you so much for the $10 at JT Ford. Who would I say is the best return on investment contract? So there's a lot of reserved free agents where teams can give them whatever they want. So like, if you're a reserve free agent, they're not allowed to talk to anyone else, so they have to accept whatever contract you want to give them. So, not taking into account reserve free agents, so like Solana, $400K a year, or those type of contracts. I would say UFAs and rookie deals don't count either. So UFAs, Nia Coffey, definitely Nia Coffey. Like, she's on $300K a year. Mabry is even better offensively. Have you not? Marina Mabry is a one-time All-Star, and Marina Mabry has never played in an All-Star game. She will this year, but she has never been an All-Star. She's 30. She's 30. Nobody knows the players voted Chelsea Gray 8th. Literally nobody knows that. You're just making an assumption. But yes, Chelsea are definitely one of those, but we don't know it was 8th. Could have been 7th. Or no. We don't know who 8th, 9th, 10th was, so yeah, it probably was 8th. Dude, Marina Mabry's just chucking. Marina Mabry's literally just chucking. Like, if you're allowed to go out and chuck, you're going to be fine. Thank you for the $10. You think Paige can get 50, 40, 90? Do you think free throws? No, she'll never shoot 50% or 9% from the free throw line. She was passive since the Chicago game. Yeah. Oh, she's been, like, she has had 3. She's had 3 clutch takeovers in 4 games. Like, that is mental. Like, it's actually mental. She had 3 clutch takeovers in 4 games. But yeah, look, it is like, it is what it is. It is what it is. What is my prediction for the game tomorrow at Vegas by 15? I mean, Jess Shepard's nearly on a max. So, like, Jess Shepard's making more money than Kelsey Plum. So, no. She's making more money than Kelsey Plum. Steph Dolson gets paid because she went to UConn. Like, I don't have any other logic for that. Is Angel Wilson playing tomorrow against the Fever? Passat playing tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know if she'll get on the floor, but probably. I mean, they back off Paige, but she's not really a threat from 30. Like, you don't want to, because she has a better handle. You don't want to overplay her. Like, you really don't. So yeah, what other topics do you guys want me to talk about? So I'm going to be live for one more topic. What do you guys want me to talk about? Caitlin Clark trade. Like, I've talked enough about that, and I don't really have anything fully planned on that. Like, I don't think there's a point in talking about the Caitlin Clark trade that we want to see. Like, over Dan Patrick's criticism for Kathy. Yeah, you can scroll back to the very start of this, or like it'll be uploaded on the channel in like an hour, so you can look at it then. Back up or kept getting put on skates. Like, I mean, you can't really go over screens because she can kind of put you in jail. Different style offenses in the W. I mean, I could talk for an hour on that. What team would be the best for Caitlin Clark's game? Don't really want to talk about that yet without talking about the trade. State of the league in 4 years. Tempo aren't good. I don't know why people keep thinking the Tempo are good. Like, they're not horrendous. They're not horrendous, but like, subscriber count today. Am I? Oh, I've gained 2 subscribers. I've gained 2. Have I gained 2? No, I've gained 2 since I woke up. I've only lost. I'm like getting close to 60,000. I'm getting really, really close to 60,100. Wings trading Enrique. Yeah, they can't trade Enrique. It's tough. The winning Caitlin signs an epic deal. No. And this is not, like, it is not a me thing. Again, I don't have any sources in the organization, nor do I even have secondary sources. But there are rumblings that Caitlin's not going to sign it. Caitlin's not signed that epic. Who has the Fever? I don't want to talk about how has the Fever lost confidence till tomorrow. I don't want us to talk about that till tomorrow. It'll be very evident tomorrow. Well, it's the epic deal. It's just an early triggering of a max contract. But if they don't trigger it, they're fucked. Like, if you don't trigger the early epic, it means that Caitlin gets Supermax. Or you have to Supermax her. And if you Supermax Caitlin, you're not in a good spot. Like, you're really not in a good spot if you have to Supermax Caitlin. Alright, I think that might be it. I think I might be finito. I'm probably going to be leave it at that there. So I will see you guys. Thank you guys for being here for the stream. Thank you guys so much. Caitlin says she wants an epic. No, where? Find anywhere where it says Caitlin wants the epic. Literally, if you can find anywhere where it says Caitlin wants to sign an epic, let me know. From what I'm hearing, there's hesitancy. I'm not saying she doesn't want to sign an Epic, but from what I'm hearing, there's hesitancy. That being said, again, I don't have good sources. If I had real sources, I'd be saying it. And for people saying that my sources, if you think my sources are another content creator, no, I wouldn't throw them under the bus. I would not throw any of them under the bus. On Boston's podcast, the only thing I heard was, damn, you're here till 2029. That's the only thing that I heard. But, yeah. Anyway, see you guys.